Hey everyone, welcome back to another discussion for Tokyo Afterschool Summoners. Today, we will be covering Valentine Idol Live's new content for the Transients that have just released. Joining me today is Zalgus.
Hello.
Hello. And joining us today is also RB Guys, to a lesser capacity.
Hello.
Good to have you on board. It's just me and Zalgus will be leading topics, but RB is definitely here as a third wheel. So let's go ahead and hop directly in and see what the new content's about. So we will be starting off with Apollo, which, if I believe correctly, Zalgus, you should be covering this topic. So whenever you are ready.
No, should I? Right, so, Apollo. So, here's our new 4-star and banner, Apollo. How does he compare to our last two 4-stars, which was Yig and Snegorchka, I believe, who were both pretty good, so let's see if they can keep up the trend. So, Apollo primarily functions as an offensive buffer with some healing on the side. So, probably his most important skill. When he appears, he applies a skill to all allies that grants defense piercing while at 100% turn start. So this only lasts for 3 turns, which is a bit short, so it might fail you in quests where enemies become invulnerable or have 4 phases or whatever, which is just something to keep in mind. It also only applies if your unit has 100% HP, so for anyone who might drain their own HP or drain allies' HP, or maybe the enemies might be able to drain your HP, like when they're being attacked, which I believe is relevant in one of the quests. Except it's not, because you don't need defense piercing there, but never mind. They'll lose this skill, so you'll need to keep that in mind. But Apollo does have some healing to mitigate this, so it probably isn't that much of a consideration. The main consideration, I would say, is probably just the short duration. And on the other side of the offensive buffs, on move phase end, Apollo gives crit to adjacent allies at a 70% rate, but only if Apollo's HP is full. Again, he has HP or healing to keep this up, so he can it's actually pretty easy to keep it going reliably. The base rate of 70% is definitely workable, so that makes Apollo a rare source of reliable crit that doesn't need to move or attack to give it, which is nice. And on the other, and his other offensive support is the new status effect Aim, which they advertise like it was some big thing. He applies Aim to all enemies board wide on turn start for the first 3 turns of a phase. Aim is very simple. It's just a 3 times damage buff for whoever attacks its enemy first. But once the enemy with Aim is hit, they immediately give themselves Aim resistance, which has an infinite duration. So Aim is a one-time deal. So Apollo can pretty reliably provide a way to get 12 times damage with both Aim and crit, but that 12 times really only applies to one person. So ideally you want the person who's actually taking advantage of Aim to be your primary damage dealer, which is probably going to be a board wiper to just proc all of the aims instantly. So good thing Aim is global, less so that crit is only local, but you can probably build around that. The only other part of Apollo's kit that is actually important is his healing. On phase start, he heals himself and allies board wide for 1k, and also heals himself for a nice meaty 2k on phase start. So each phase start he's healing himself for 3k, which is going to be enough to bring him up above a 50% threshold, which is important, unless he's like already dying. He has 7k HP, so it's not quite half his HP, but just don't let him like get down to less than 1k HP. And when he is buffed, he will also heal allies and self for 300 in a 2 square diamond radius. This is at a lower 60% rate, but if you're supplying Apollo with buffs, it can be an okay source of sustain. Just don't let him drop below 50%. Otherwise, he'll actually just lose the ability to sustain until you move phases. Also, he has Turnstile Glint at an 8% rate, which I kind of hate that it's 8%, but whatever. It's okay to buff up crit rate most of the time. Even if you skill seed him, it's only going to be 9%, or whatever. The rest of Apollo's kit is not important. Well, I mean, I guess his CS can give himself more heal, or give allies more healing, but he has no way of putting up a CS really anyway. Yeah, so Apollo is a decent damage buffer. The crit is rare and reliable. Well, fairly reliable. It's not 100%. Given the base rate and glint and how crit, no one really gives crit most of the time. That's good. Aim, in my opinion, is a bit of a meme. I mean, yes, it's global and requires no upkeep, and there's going to be no overlap from anyone because literally no one else in the game applies it, but it's a one-time damage buff. I mean, in this age of board wiping one-shots, it's fine. The annoying thing about the crit, though, is that it's easily turned off if Apollo gets so much as a scratch, but just don't let Apollo get hit, just board wipe the enemy. So it's easy enough to maintain, but the real draw, of course, is his damage penetration bestow. Defense penetration bestow. Defense penetration is something that has usually been restrictive in the past. Really, the only one who comes to mind is Christmas Nomad, who is limited, who is 5-star, and also he has to move to bestow it. There was Vapula 4-star, but he has to move, and that only pierces evasion. Apollo gives it pretty unconditionally, unless you're in some edge case where you have a team that for some reason will hurt themselves. So just don't include those units. So yeah, Apollo's pretty powerful in that regard. And that's something that we haven't had before. So yeah, overall, Apollo's pretty good. He's definitely just as good, if not better, than Yig and Snegorchka. He, as an offensive buffer, I wouldn't say he's the best because aim only applies once, but again, crit is rare, so that's great. But what you're probably just going to be looking at him for is the defense penetration. And that's it.
Okay.
You can blaze him now.
In true to Brit fashion, seems Zalgus does not know how to use superlatives and is very humble to describe anyone. But why don't you go ahead and
what do you want me to say?
Add on that, Harvey.
Apollo is the greatest.
Not pretty good. What is this pretty good? Yeah, he's just better good than Snurgorch. Like, what are you even talking about? All right, you know what, Harvey? Go add on to this, please.
What? Okay, whatever. Yeah, this unit is definitely very good. The defense penetration thing just kind of shits on the chapter 14 like farm quest, because that whole shenanigan is like, oh, you can't hit me unless you tap me first, or you got the evasion piercing, and now you can just like one tap them with fucking Apollo on the board. And yeah, this unit doesn't really care about like positioning too much because of that board wide aim thing and also the board wide defense penetration thing. Unless you really want to make use of that crit, but you really don't need it on him. Is he better than Yig or Snegnog, whatever?
Snegnog?
That's what I've always called her.
Nice.
Snegnog, yeah, he's probably better than her, just because he's a lot more easy to use and has more practical skill effects. Yig, kind of hard to see. I think this unit's gonna die by how often you'll come across these enemies that stack defensive buffs. And there are, like, I guess, 2 relevant quests where that happened so far, but other than that, you might be better off just bringing like another crit buffer. But he does have a place as like an accessible like counter to enemies that stack defensive buffs, while also being easy way to buff any board wiping composition. I didn't use him too much. I don't like him.
Well, at least that part's honest. Yeah, I would be more generous in saying pretty good or even very good. I'd say he's probably the best permanent 4-star in the game we've received in years.
Is he the best?
Honestly, possibly. Like, I'm trying to think of like other permanent 4-stars that are better. Like, are there any? I don't know about that. Whenever I do the platinum ticket selector recommendations, I usually just go directly to mentioning Boogeyman and Jurong because like they truly are like the best of the set because there aren't actually that many amazing 4-stars and Jurong's kind of peak, no bias. But like Apollo, like frankly, is even better than Jurong at that point. He's just more practical for both farming and challenges, whereas Jurong's a meme and Boogeyman is good for front row damage dealing, I guess. But yeah, he's relevant in some of the hardest quests in this game, not just for farming but challenges too, such as for both challenges and farming you have both Ramu with his defense attacks as well as Overlord in chapter 14 with his evasion, and they are respectively the most relevant farms for attack seed and attack blossom as well. Interestingly enough, this will be a trend for the rest of this banner, as you'll see, but even though nothing directly, references all range in his banner, he, as Zalgus hinted at, is actually well suited towards a board wiper setup when you have your board wiper who's attacking first as your main one. And the reason for that is because, as he pointed out, you want the one who's getting all the amp to be the only one who's attacking first, because the aiming effect, aim, lock-on, unlock, aim alignment, whatever you want to call that, is only going to apply to the first unit, so that first unit better be the strongest out of everyone who's attacking. So to make sure it's not being wasted on someone who's not having as much amp, it's really the best applied on someone with all range. So this entire banner, as you'll see, is very lends very much towards board wipe setups or supporting them. So I think that's quite interesting for entire banner, which is no small part of why this banner as a whole ends up being quite fantastic, I'd say. Polo definitely.
Did you really call that interesting for the entire banner? Did you really call that interesting?
Yes, because normally when we get board wiper related stuff, they're just board wipers. They don't actually support board wipers. Think about it this way: do we really have any units that support board wipers? We have units that support like column clears in terms of some backliner that buffs units ahead of them. But in terms of like supportive units to board wipers, they're pretty much just like board wide amps, which benefit any map honestly. But Apollo here is not only doing that, but also the what's called the defense amp penetration, as well as his amp in itself, the aiming effect, is really like better just for board wipers themselves. It could also be used for like triple column clearing, but you would have to keep it strictly for snipe and shot column clears, because if you're using a magic column clear, they're going to be poking to the side, which is going to have a bit of an unwanted overlapping effect. But yeah, Apollo is quite a devastating unit. Probably a very easy argument to make him to say he is in fact the strongest 4-star, a permanent variety in the game. So if you don't get him from this banner, you can always redeem him from Anniversary, and there's a very good case that you should. But
I kind of wish we had Apollo back during the old coin farm quests.
Yeah,
that
Apollo
would have made team building a bit easier.
Fucking Christmas Nomad was like living rent free in everyone's heads because of that one quest, and then after they removed it, now they're releasing it like this. He would have been definitely more relevant, and like Christmas Nomad would have been dead and would have saved people a lot more resources. Like literally, there's no reason to use like a Christmas Nomad after this unit's release, because Christmas Nomad is just Apollo but with like less range. He's pretty much strictly only usable for tall maps, to be honest, whereas Apollo is just for any map size. And he doesn't need to move, so your primary mover could do something else that's a lot more powerful than just giving a defense penetration, which he just gives for free. So yeah, pretty much Nomad. He kind of like fucking dead after this. There's no reason to be pulling for Nomad other than if you actually like him with Apollo existing. Okay, well, if that's it for this topic, I'm gonna read out the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty. Alright. Hello everyone, Gazer, Xenu, Lin, Gazer, and Aurora. I said Gazer twice. Surely Apollo's existence excuses of the Christmas no matter, right? Well, they should probably buff him if they want people to pull from him again, but they reprinted him enough that I'm pretty sure they milked to death at this point. You're super tempted to pull one more time on the banner for the Chubby Little Fellow, but you want to keep saving for a banner with characters you really like somewhere down the road. Well, you know, we can... To hint at it, this banner is not must pull, but it's making a very good case of like reaching just before that point because all the units are quite good. But it is technically not must pull. You may want to save for the new semester, which should be happening a couple months from now, if we are to follow the schedule how things usually work. You got Apollo and Idol Echo already, so you're pretty content. Those are pretty good. Well, Echo's pretty good. Apollo's fantastic, so congrats on that. Hello, Intran. Defense piercing. Don't call her Snegnog. Segnog. Didn't need to hear that. Apollo isn't Red Panda, so he can't be that good, to be honest. True. Not the child privilege winning over. Kind of a stretch to call him the child. Supposedly he is from Olympus, and his entire thing is being the paradigm of Olympian and having like all the youth or something. But he's giving like a Justin Bieber in terms of his age range. He's not exactly like fucking... Well, I'm saying Justin Bieber. He's like an adult now, but you know, in my mind, when I think of Justin Bieber, I think of like his baby era appearance. Fushi supports Boardwipes. Mid. Sorry, what did he say, Zalgus?
Said poor choice of wording.
I guess. 5-star Lave, a skill evolution this year will give him the aim lock-on trust. Yeah, I'm excited to see how they're gonna implement lock-on in the future. Although they kind of like jumped the gun here with releasing an on-unit that's doing it in the best possible effect or best possible method ever. Like at this point, anyone else who releases with aiming is gonna do it in a far inferior way, which is kind of funny. Press X to doubt on that, Lin. Bet. You got everyone on the banners, though, so congrats on that, Chair Bear. Investing into Lin stocks right now. Ah, yes, Justin Bieber, the ageless stage. The 13th Olympian.
Right. I didn't mention this before, but I thought it was kind of funny how this was kind of like the inverse of how aim works in Lively Hero. So, for those who don't know, in Lively Hero, basically, when you apply a defense down debuff, that status expires as soon as the enemy gets hit. But then when LifeWonders released a new status called like aim in that game, it was actually the first status that would persist through multiple attacks and wouldn't tick down until the turn ended. So in a way, this is like the reverse of that for that game, because it's like the first defensive debuff that would like expire as soon as the enemy gets hit. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Wait, that's how it works in law? They just like get removed after they're hit?
Yeah, we have like one status for applying defense down, and as soon as the enemy gets hit, it gets removed, or it removes a stack of it rather if they you have like multiple turns of it or whatever.
I guess that's one way to balance the game from having insane amount of multipliers like this one. But yeah, that is an interesting choice for them to make. Is that the same symbol they use, or is it just like vaguely similar?
They have different symbols.
I see.
And so you generally can't stack multipliers because it's just the one defense up or a defense down.
I see. I will say though that I saw the icon for the status and the name of it before it was actually released because of certain data mines, and I kind of just was hoping for a different effect. But I mean, this is obviously nice, but mostly just in its implementation by Apollo, because board white is always nice to have. But I don't know. I was hoping for something completely different in terms of maybe it would do something fancy, like it would decrease damage to all range. Instead, it's kind of doing the opposite, where it's best to be used with all range units. So, funny how that worked out. So we can move on to the next topic, and the next person can just read whatever new comments just happened. So Zalgus, you are the only other new person. I don't know why I'm referring to that way. You can cover the next topic. Let me just switch topics right now.
What? It's your turn.
Is it my turn again? What? It's Vapula, right? No, it's me.
It is Vapula.
Oh my god, why did I read your chat? Okay, you can read mine.
That's why I said, go ahead then.
I don't know why I thought I covered Apollo. Well, it's because you fucking undersold him. Jesus Christ, please. Zalgus, do not undersell him that badly that I think I'm the one who's talking about. Jesus Christ.
Okay, chat. Apollo is the best 4-star in the game.
There you go. There you go. It's saved now.
If you would like to completely make defensive stacking irrelevant, except like the off chance that they do something like reduce your HP to 1.
Okay.
Thank you, Harvey.
Thank you, Harvey. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, defense penetration, good. Global, good.
Right, I'm covering Apollo or Vapula. Let me do that right now. So, Vapula, he is, right. He is a fire thrust 4-star unit belonging to the craters, yada yada. And his roles, to start off directly off the bat, is he is a repositioner, which is gonna precede everything else he does in his kit. He can move people because of his extended horizontal movement, but not only that, he pulls units in all enemies in every phase start at a guaranteed rate, 2 squares in. So nice way to bundle all the units up for the latter effects, which are more core to his identity of how he plays. Namely, he is a shared bounty inflictor. So I'm using very weird terminology here, but that's because Vapula is a very weird unit that functions in a particular way that is not really like comparable to anything else besides maybe what's called Summer Babe Bunyan for one of the effects. But yeah, what he does, like his original kit, he applies a status relating to departure to the enemy that he moves in front in magic range. He applies 2 effects, in fact. So for enemies that are in magic range that he moves ahead of, he will apply a status where if they are defeated and leave the battle, they will heal all of their enemies, aka they will heal your team, as well as fill up their charge meter. So the amount is actually 500 HP as well as 10 CP. He can also further do a bit of healing on his charge, as well as a bit of more chargeful there as well. Yeah, that's his most important skill, although it's a bit underwhelming at the first glance. He essentially, you'll want to bring Boardwipes with Vapula again, just like Apollo, because the ones who best use that effect are going to be units that don't have that much chargeful per enemy hit, and that's going to be all range units that only get like 1 CP per enemy hit. Instead of 1 CP per enemy hit, they'll be getting like 12 or 11 CP per enemy hit, based on if they actually are able to kill them, which he can sort of help with as well, because he does have a bit of a local damage amp with his attack up to allies encircling on phase start, as well as nourishment when he moves, which he will be moving if you want that CP effect to go off. Besides that auxiliary support, he also does some healing and minor debuff mitigation to increase recovery to allies and nourishment, and nullify debuff and remove debuff on charge. And he also can mitigate a bit of damage as well with his tenacity and charm to enemies on move phase end. All those things are like, I'm rushing by them because they're like all weirdly all over the place. He just does a bunch of support effects, but none of them are particularly pronounced. So it's nice that he does a bunch of other stuff, but his main thing really is just the thing where he sets a bounty to the units he moves in front of, and if you kill them, then everyone in your team receives a bounty. He does have this grudge status where if he dies, he deal some devastating effects to the enemies, but it's a bit relevant because you don't want your units to die generally. But yeah, removes all buffs and Blaze Break prevents him from moving. So he does have a potential to massively increase the charge uptime for your entire team, which is gonna be a bit different from Tomte, who has a similar effect, except we'll talk about it later, but essentially Vapula and Tomte will be the main comparison points in this banner due to this sort of a bounty effect. But for Vapula at least, he applies it to the entire team, which means to best exploit his sort of status or unique bounty effect, you're gonna want allies who can sort of get their charge quickly on their own so that they can make the difference with what they're missing for Vapula. And you can have an entire team of that, so with Vapula, you could feasibly have an entire team that is constantly getting their charge up. And unlike Tomte, which you'll see, Vapula is able to apply this bounty effect anytime during battle, so even if the phase is taking a while, you'll still be able to enjoy that increased charge fill. But to list some examples, you may want to bring this in teams that have charge fillers towards allies, such as Marine Behemoth, Christmas Ryota, Akia Gongyin's base 5-star, and Ritual Hephaestus. Any unit with the ruler status will. There are also some units that have selfish CP gains, such as Shiva's base 5-star, Algernon's virtual variant, and Shalal's Paradise variant. And lastly, you may want to loop this, or consider pairing this unit, Vapula, with charge loopers, aka units that get a bunch of their charge filled with their charge itself, being most prominently with Amaterasu's base 5-star, as well as Gorpukum's Snowland variant. You may want to actually consider stacking his bounty effect with Tomte, which we'll get to eventually. Oh yeah, that is it for me. What do you think, Harvey?
Me again?
Yeah, you'll be the de facto second guy to talk for everything.
Okay. Yeah. So Vapula, much like Tomte, kind of only has like one unique thing going for him, and that is very much the bounty effect that he bestows onto enemies. And it's good that he can do it whenever he wants, but it does cost your move slot, and it also applies only in magic range, which is going to be very annoying because that means that you'll need like a Boardwiper to fully make use of that skill. And not to mention that, by nature, his 2-square pull can actually sometimes work against him because it'll pull enemies outside of his magic range. I thought it'd be more fun to use, but he kind of is really annoying to like slot in for teams because I feel like half his power budget is in the stupid on leave skill where he just like applies break to everyone, and his CS is like kinda mid too, I think, if you don't like whale for SALV. I don't know, it's kind of a mess for me. I guess he has synergy with Apollo because he has that increased recovery bestowed too, and Apollo heals a lot as well.
Wow,
but
I'm surprised you're actually talking about the other effects because I think they're mostly nothing to talk about.
They are mostly nothing, but in the context of this banner, I think it's worth talking about.
I guess that's true.
Banner specific synergies, rather.
Is it my turn to play the foghorn sound effect?
If you have it, yeah.
It is easy to say that Vapula is the worst in the banner. I don't think he's bad, but everyone's just so much better, which says a lot about this banner. But yeah, Vapula is definitely the bottom choice of this, if you will.
It's like why would you want to use the move slot so you can like piss about with these on kill effects that are just for some HP and CP, that even if you manage to, apply the CP bounty to 5 enemies, that's only 50 CP, so that's not going to work for cycling CSs. unless they have a source of 50 CP from somewhere else, which, I mean, I guess you could do setups for that, but there's much better setups that you could do for that don't require you to waste a move slot and are also not dependent on, the enemy positioning too.
It's
very unreliable and kind of dumb.
It is limited in terms of 50 CP is the most you can do, and then he's unlikely to get 50 CP in total, despite him being paired with Boardwipes as the best case scenario. You might as well just use Behemoth at that point. But there's nothing stopping you from combining them together to get even more CP, is the main reasoning. And also, unlike Tomte, he does apply to the entire team, so it could work out in the best case scenario as an entire team that's getting their charge up constantly. If you're only trying to build one person's charge up, it's pretty much not worth it. But as long as you have in mind, I want everyone to have their charge up, Vapula's a pretty decent choice. Also, you have to remember that even though he's limited to only 5 units, that's just per move, right? He can technically just, if you're getting your charges but you're not actually clearing everyone in the same phase, he could just move to the next set of enemies to set up more bounties for you to get your charge up, which is fully possible for large maps. Understandably though, he's still not quite as impressive as everyone else, but his kit is at least cohesive in terms of the pulling units, at least bundles people together for that magic range application. Although as Harvey put out, sometimes it does make him affect less units than he should. But for the most, he should be able to apply some sort of effect to at least 3, or maybe even 4 units because of his pull effect for the most.
I could see a better use case for him if he had a bit more horizontal movement, because right now he only has that +1. If he had something to help vary the team around, I don't know, Gabriel type movement, it'd be easier to say, oh yeah, his niche is worth using here, but as of now it's as of now it's
it is
a lot of nothing effects that I'm seeing.
For any Vapula fans out there, it is at least a consolation to know that this unit is definitely better than his base card. So there you go.
Evasion Pierce though.
True.
Very untrue. Okay, you guys can, or rather, Zalgus. Actually, why don't you cover the chat this time, Harvey?
What? You just stole Zalgus'? Okay, whatever.
Let's be quirky. Let's have it. You did.
What is wrong with you? God, fine. Red B, even leave off. Was it? Am I late for Echo Kit roasting?
Pretty much, yeah. That was it.
Okay. Nope, just in time. Nope, just started. Oh well, guess it's time to quit. Summer Hecate Skivo looks weird here. Hello? Not the foghorn. Yeah, my trusty old soundboard. I know his kit is badly made. Vapula should have been making his buff ranges reach out more if he really wants to utilize that bounty to kill skill that he inflicts to enemies. Skivo should give him self CP increase, weight 18 and 84 attack, and no self attack raise. Too fat to have more attack. I don't know. Yeah, this kit's low-key a mess for me. It's kind of reminiscent of Saturnus with his shit ass attack stat.
Let's not get too crazy.
All I'm saying is, if he didn't have that one bounty skill, it'd be over for him.
Well, he is kind of living and dying by it, just like Tomte.
However you're fat, however you're gay, however you're massive, however you're evil. Time for a Junpei style. Vapula, la 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 la. Girl, I am looking at the gameplay video right now, and I do not see how Vapula even helps. Lamau.
Everyone's getting their charge every turn, right? That's the whole point.
I do not see. I'm not looking at that right now. Hi, Ara, and Zalgi Welgi, and Harvey, I guess. You do not fucking call them that. You've never used those names before. Stop trying to gaslight people into thinking that you're friends with them.
What do you mean? Everyone calls Zalgus Zalgi Welgi. Isn't that right, Zalgi Welgi?
Incorrect.
Arathun. Eye rolling. Note a time on the first one Joe mentioned, and 4 times 2. Ara. Silence. Vapula thought he was cooking with this one. Vapula more like Nopula. Just use Summer Hecate with more mummers they are. Wow, what an improvement. Vapula more like.
Was that going somewhere?
The feds got to him before he could finish. I thought I was crazy back then. Don't worry, he'll get used to it. Okay, cool.
Cool. Now let's talk about some of the more increasingly good units. Starting with Echo. Let me just switch over this stuff, and whenever you're ready, Zalgus.
Not the VN. Right, so, Echo. Hang on, let me go close the window. I hear people outside. Fucking. This is why we can't have nice things. Right, so, Echo is a pretty simple character in my opinion. Her kit revolves entirely around a bunch of before hitting skills. Her primary function is as a unreliable but potentially high value buffer. She brings to mind an old unit like Valentine's Kento, who had a number of unreliable offensive buffs on hit that could, or not on hit, he only had one on hit, but those could potentially add up to hit very hard. But anyway, on to the skills. So first, when appearing prayer and prayer strengthening, the prayer is pretty important because Echo's rates are all absolutely terrible, so she needs every rate up she can get. Her prayer strengthening is nice too. While she has it, she takes 0.1 times damage, so that runs out in 5 turns, which matches the prayer. The defense boost is absolutely massive, so Echo is very tanky for those first 5 turns, which is good because she'll want to be as close to the enemies as possible so that she can hit as many enemies as she can for the greatest number of chances to fish for her skills. So before hitting, she grants a variety of buffs, mainly to her allies, but she also grants combo to herself too, which again helps Echo fish for the rest of her buffs even more. The combo is 80%, so that's at least guaranteeable. For her allies, she can give crit and prayer to allies adjacent, and vigor and concentration all around. Vigor has a rate of 60, concentration 70, and crit and prayer are 20%. These are all pretty bad rates, even with Echo hitting potentially up to 6 times. You might still miss, especially the crit and prayer, so that can suck. Also, she inflicts charm in shot range before attacking at a 20% rate, so she can potentially disable her entire column, also at a bad rate. Note that she inflicts charm in shot range, not on who she is attacking, so she only needs to proc it once to inflict charm to all her potential targets. It's a small distinction, but it's nice because it means Echo doesn't have to individually charm all of them, especially not with that awful rate. Echo's CS grants buffs, combo, and crit plus. I don't know why I said it like that. Grants combo and crit plus to allies adjacent. The combo also applies to Echo, so you might get to fish for her normal buffs on the second hit of the combo to stack it together with the crit plus, which could be great. Also, it's all-range charm, which is definitely welcome. She doesn't have a way to build her CS though, so don't count on it unless you're building to team for it. So numbers. Not counting her CS, Echo can give a maximum of 21.12 times multiplier, which is a pretty nice multiplier for someone who can give it to multiple people without moving. Pretty much no one can really boast such high multiplier numbers without moving, and all on potentially turn 1, except someone who we'll get onto later. Other non-moving damage buffers usually have a much lower cap on their potential damage increase. There's Summer Labe though, who's a pretty premier choice for that. He gives 11.52. And then there's Qinglong, who is another common pick for easy buffers, but he only gives 4.4, so it's actually not that great. More recently we got Snegorchka, who can reach 12.67, but she can't do all of it on turn 1, and 2 of her buffs aren't actually accessible unless she CS's first, which means anything after the first few turns. And then there's Apollo, who has a 12 times damage buff that only applies for like one hit for all the enemies. More comparable is the aforementioned Valentine's Kenta, who has a maximum of 20.24, a similar value, but he has to get hit first, which is harder to safely fish for because he has no defenses, unlike Echo. It's funny because Echo doesn't even need to get hit, really, but it lets us sit up front. Her prayer strengthening, that is. Now, given the rate of vigor and concentration, you've got a pretty good chance of getting those at least, which means giving 2 buffs echoes equal to quite a lot of buffers. A lot of them offer just 2 damage buffs. But Echo also has the potential to fish for that lovely crit, which is mainly what she has to offer, in addition to not having to move for any of her buffs, which is probably the real main draw. If your main damage dealer really can't do without moving and wants a potent non-moving buffer, Echo can probably provide just fine. Alternatively, you can use her in combination with another moving buffer, like Mononobe, whose buffs don't overlap at all, and could skyrocket the damage dealer's number a lot. Aside from that, you might consider pairing Echo with people who can give her concentration and glint, because she lacks those. Or who can expand her attack range if you want more chances at rolling the dice. Or, you could just use Smoky God to jump her crit up to 8% with prayer. That would be pretty reliable at that point. As for ARs, Echo wants one thing, which is proc rate. Unfortunately, she can't equip anything that can give her concentration, but she can equip the Volos Alice AR, which gives Glint face start reliably, so that's great for her. So in summary, Echo is a damage buffer who doesn't need to be moved at all, and who has the potential for a really big damage buff, but it's pretty unreliable. I'd say she's pretty good, but really, I don't know if you really want to be rolling the dice this much, because you pretty much can't really guarantee any of her stuff. Like, at most you can guarantee Vigor if you stack all the rate ups on her, unless you're using Smoky God, I guess. But as fun as it would be to get the big numbers, I don't know how much use she'll really get. Okay, that's it.
Cool. Harvey, you're up.
Okay. In my eyes, she's like easier to use Kokopelli, because you can actually manipulate the RNG to your favor. This was actually the unit that Milk wanted the most, I think. Because he was like, let's go gambling. And then he rolled, and then he flopped miserably.
Talk about gambling.
I think yeah. He got like Apollo only, I think. And like no other banner unit. It was kind of hard to look at.
Ooh. How much did he pull?
Like 300 stones, I think.
Jesus Christ, and only Apollo. Which he could have gotten in anniversary. Rest in peace, Milk. Milk's real reason he didn't join today. He went off the grid.
Honestly. This game's fucking evil, dude, I'm telling you. But yeah. Echo's Cat. I think it's been a while since we've seen, like, this gamble for offensive buff type of kit. And they're kind of fun to use sometimes, but practically you'll never use them for like farming unless you're really attached to Smoky God for some reason. I don't think Echo's the most interesting kit in the banner, to be honest, even though Milk really wanted them. I think it's just like V Kenta, but shot range at this point.
Well, I think Kenta is the most apt comparison, because, that archetype of like low range or low rate amp locally has existed for a while, but Kenta kind of like I'm pretty sure he's like the first relevant unit that everyone just brings for that explicit purpose, and there hasn't really been.
Oh wait, you know who was like another unit who did that? It was fucking what was it? Summer Hephaestus.
Fuck him. No thanks.
He had combo and he rolled for crit.
There's just crit. Who cares? There's tons of people who rolled for crit. There's also Kengo, I believe, and maybe even Thunderbird. But Kento is like the first one who gave like multiple amps. And honestly, it's like the same tier as what Echo gives. But
I mean, Hephaestus also gave Ardor.
Yeah, but those are reliable, so it doesn't count. But yeah, Echo here is I feel like Echo's the best possible sort of replacement for Kenta. Kenta has definitely fallen out of use because not only is it unreliable, but it's also like, you know, incompatible timings, and you have to wait to get hit for one of them, so you can't do it instantly. Meanwhile, Echo is more relevant in that while she keeps her low range and low rates for effects, she now can just access everything instantly, which is quite nice. So it's sort of like a modern version of Kenta. You'll never need to use Kenta as long as you have Echo. And unlike Kenta, who has like attack up and brawn, which are just like accessible through equips, Echo gives the more rare vigor and concentration. Well, I guess concentration is also given by an equip, but yeah, it's I'd say she also has a better spread to give to her entire team, but kind of like every other unit in Spanner, you probably just want to pair her up with a board wiper, so that they can make most use of her damage amp all in a single unit. One thing that we didn't talk about is her charge in terms of not the crit effect but the charm effect. She's the first unit with all range charm on charge. I looked it up, and it was something I was looking out for quite a while. But yeah, she's the first unit. Ignoring Catchy with his random CS weapon change every 4th turn or some dumb shit like that. So that makes Echo possibly usable for charm memes if you're instantly getting her charge. So she's a good candidate to slap on the single builds equip if you just want to, you know, give charm and you don't really care about the other effect as much, which makes her also a naturally good pair with Drawing as well. But yeah, that's just a bit of a niche consideration, but it is strong. And she pairs naturally well with board wipers, not just because of, you know, stacking them all, but also her amps tend to not be already in use by the existing board wipers. Like a lot of board wipers already have Ardor and she doesn't have that, and none of them really have Vigor, which she has. So she'd be good for units like Kyoma, Livestreamer, Hawkman's newest variant, River Shiva, who has like
Oscar.
0 amps shared. Oscar, yeah. Crit is a bit overlap, but that's only for the first turn, so yeah, even Oscar as well. And even like Oz partners, Quantum and Aster, all of them, like none of them really shared their amps, which is kind of shocking. So
Quantum?
she's... Oh, Quantum board wipes every second turn.
But she doesn't do damage, as in...
Well, now
that
she
kind of damage.
can. Now she can. So, guys, trust.
So, yes, obligatory summer rolls mention.
But yeah, just incidentally, her amps seem to be very well suited for any board wide amp, or the most relevant ones anyways. So, yeah, consider this yet another case for why you should pull this banner if you have like some board wide amp but you feel like they're not doing quite enough. As for other considerations, make sure you slot her as early as possible because she's kind of Omega garbage tier if you slot her later, especially in support, which is why Echo's the only one I just decided to borrow some footage from someone else. Lynn, thank you for the recordings here. Unfortunately, it seems that one of my footage seems to be prematurely cut, but it's just pushing off smoke, so whatever. But yeah, she also has a charge loop potential with Tomte, which we can get to because, interestingly enough, she has so many amps, it's kind of funny, but not a single one, not even on her charge, applies to herself. So she can get away with using her charge and not killing everyone. So she can stack with Tomte's effects in terms of getting her charge quickly without actually killing them, which is quite good for Tomte's effect, because his effect is not when they are killed, it's whenever they're hit. So as long as they're surviving, which they probably will with Echo's non-existent personal damage, then some other board wiper can take advantage of getting all of that CP as well. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on Echo. We all done here?
And Lin footage rocking that fucking SALV 100 Echo with the maxed out single Bulls Club.
Look, I mentioned it to them too, and it was like, okay, you know what? I don't really want you to take more footage. You've done enough, and like, there's like, whatever. It's not the best footage, but it's also, you know, she's doing stuff. So that's fine. I believe in the Creator's Quest footage, she actually does skip a few hits because Bigfoot's doing enough damage to skip a few of the hits anyways. But yeah, not the worst footage, just not ideal either. Sorry, Lynn.
When's that changeable team order?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. Like, a lot of units like Echo would be a lot stronger, and I have Gas Cannon in my support list, and they'll probably never remove Echo from their support, so should be a pretty high pick consideration if they do manage to switch support slots eventually. But we can move on to chat, and finally gonna have the proper person talking about the proper chat section. So go ahead, Zalgus.
No, you. I mean, I think it's funny that you're saying that Echo is a pretty strong consideration, but I don't know. Based on calculations for a later unit, that might not be so, but we'll get on to that later. Where were we? Was it Mom?
Yeah.
Mom, that's on TV. Woo. Oh my god, daughter. Who? What?
Daughter. Female child progress.
As in otter with a D. Like
As
Otter
in-
Housamo.
Did you use otter in your footage?
No, it's just a reference to Echo. Daughter, you know?
Oh, daughter. Right. You're
Don't worry, I
popular.
mistook it too. I was like, I don't remember applying damage over time to any of this footage. And I only it clicked with me just now. Oh, never mind.
Maybe if Echo gave longer lasting buff, she would actually be a great unit to use. I mean, I don't think she really needs to do that. I think she's... Like, I mean, you know, she's not reliable, but you're probably using her because you want that euphoria of getting her max damage buffs and doing some big fuck-off damage, but whatever. Echo's so cute, she makes people go roid. Yes. Oof. I see the comparison with her and Lian Shi, and I also see how Lian Shi is still better to use than Echo, who has a better selection for buffs. I mean, Lian, you know, used for buffing your one hyper carry and also for her greatly expanded movement range, and Echo is just used because she doesn't need to move at all. So, I mean, they're similar in that they're damage buffers, but in practice, not really.
In practice, Lianon's kind of ass with a lot of board-wide amps because there's a huge overlap, and it kind of works out for better with Echo. Also, Lianon like reduces HP, which kind of just like ruins Oscar a bit. So, yeah, Echo just by chance seems to work.
Oscar.
He has that at 100 HP. He has crit before the first turn, which actually just denies Oscar's crit if you move Lianon behind him.
Is it?
Yeah.
His crit is unconditional.
Oh, was it?
It's his Ardor, but that doesn't matter because Lianan replaces the Ardor.
Oh, well, never mind then.
I mean,
It's still not
you're
optimal,
you're still better off using someone like Mephisto or Mononobe. Well, Mononobe really, because Mephisto got power creep by him.
Sanzo.
Yeah,
Well, not really Sanzo, because you have to the repositioning thing.
yeah, there's annoying repositioning, but anyway, there are other reasons why I would say Lianan is not ideal for Oscar, but the killing people part is not. I thought you were gonna say something like it ruins Apollo synergy, except not really because Apollo can easily heal up what she does. Anyway, Smoky God is a really handsome man, though. Where did this come from? Oh, right, because I said Smoky God. The only real gambling unit we have is Kokopelli. Well, now we have Echo. Nodens. Well, what about him?
He has low rate crit to spread when he hits, so no, it's not just Kenta.
I do not care about Majima, sorry. I struggled using Kenta because his buffs all have different conditions to proc.
Yeah, never use Kenta again after Echo. Well, unless you didn't get Echo like me.
The main annoying thing with Kenta, in my experience, and I used him a lot, was that his Brawn was not in your hands to give, because it's, when being attacked, and also not reliable. Most of the time I just coasted on his phase start or turn start adjacent attack up.
That was also inconvenient because it meant you were probably not going to get attacked on first turn due to written positioning.
Is Quantum still good? Speaking of, got her 5-star and I really like her, but I'm not sure if she's worth it to use much. Quantum is someone who I would say isn't really affected by like how the meta progresses, because she's kind of she kind of does her own thing. Yeah, she's
very good, but it's
pretty easy to solo carry with her, but she plays in a different way to most units. Like, she's definitely powerful, but you really need to understand how she works, how to and keep track of which phase you're in, so that you don't fuck up your positioning for the next phase.
Every time I think of using Quantum, I'm like, then I have to review our kit again, and then nah, let's not do that. Let's just pick someone else.
your brain falls apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, Quantum can offer a lot of survivability while offering like a truckload of flat damage.
I feel like there was a unit who could cover the off turns of Quantum's damage reversal.
There probably was, and we forgot.
Horus.
Oh
yeah, that was it. So you could just have Guts on even turns and Quantum's damage reversal on odd turns, and you'll be unkillable, which is kind of stupid.
Yes, so if you would really like to raise Quantum, then rest assured that she definitely has a pretty big payoff if you choose to learn how to play her. But, I mean, she's not a bad unit. So, that's... you may rest easy. Hopefully we'll get a support placement change on the next chapter, or a new chapter. Yeah, it would be nice. Quantum is pretty great unit for blind clearing quests that you don't know. Good for stalling due to her damage reversal and move, although she can be vulnerable on even turns. Can't you just use the AR that gives HP loss reversal anyway?
It's a damage reversal, which is different from HP loss reversal. Although I think she might actually get that too, but maybe not. But yeah, damage reversal is just straight up better than even evasion, because you're not just canceling damage, you're healing from it, so yeah. Okay, well, if that's it for Echo, we can move on to the next topic. Thank you for covering the chat, Zalgus. So the next topic is going to be Tomte, which I will be covering. Just switch over the information. Right, so Tomte is a 5-star water magic unit with no affiliation. RIP. But yeah, let's start off the bat with the thing that will affect everything else, which is he has early activation made up for himself as well as any allies that are near him. And next off, he is also, besides that glint effect to nearby allies and himself, he also has extended movement for the first turn of battle, as well as has the ability to resist all movement disabling effects. So he moves and he has raid up in the beginning. So that's just to get that out of the way, the important stuff before everything else. The next part of his kit is the one unique thing that makes him worth using, because everything else is kind of just like, it's there. He is a charge fill bounty bestower, board wide. A bit like Vapula, except while Vapula applies it to your entire team, it's only restricted to a few units. He moves in front. Tomte is a bit of the reverse in terms of he applies this bounty to all enemies, but it will only, the receiver of the bounty will be only the person who actually attacks that unit. So he doesn't have any heal effect unlike Vapula. But yeah, keep in mind this, while it's the same amount of CP, 10 CP, it's for each time the enemy's hit, and it only lasts for the first 2 turns of a phase, which can be a deal breaker, to be honest, depending on how fast you are able to achieve your charges. But yeah, he does a bunch of other auxiliary stuff. He does a team damage amp, which, he has glint strengthening board wide, which in effect only buffs units that are nearby him that he's able to give one to. And he has personal damage on himself through attack up on phase start, as well as Ardor whenever he moves, which, he will have pretty good movement because he has extended movement on first turn and resists movement debuffs. And he does have decent damage potential. He does 21,000 damage per square, which I believe makes him slightly worse than Valentine Belor, but that Valentine Belor is still like maybe a top 10 magic damage dealer. So he's Tomte's not bad when it comes to dealing damage. And unlike Belor, his damage is reliable. But besides that, he can also increase the damage of his allies through concentration whenever he moves, as well as through crit on charge, which he should be possibly getting a decent amount of if he's getting some hits into toward the enemy. Besides his damage amp, he also increases his entire team's rates through both glint as well as concentration just to allies. He also does apply glint again on his charge though, ensuring his strength is up through his glint strengthening. The glint strengthening, by the way, is only for the first 10 turns of battle for some reason, but yeah. And lastly, the most subordinate of uses is his ability to be a bit of an auxiliary tank. He has Adamantine on himself, as well as Guts to himself and allies around him every time he gets his charge up. And he can mitigate some debuffs through Nullify debuff, Freeze resistance, and remove debuff on charge. So yeah, going back to that one skill, that bounty effect, he is able to, much like Vapula, enable board-wide charge loops. Well, in that case, it's more ideal for him than Vapula, since he can apply to all enemies at the same time, unlike Vapula, who only applies it to a restricted set of nearby enemies, which means any board wiper who can go off instantly, such as Christine or what's it called? I have a list here. What am I talking about? There's Christine, Perun, Balkan Taka Mugen, if you actually want to use this charge, Gangstar Jurong, Yuma, Jihad's Sunshine variant, Fashionista Wakantanka, Amduscias' recent Idol variant, which is the last topic in this discussion, and Huckman's Dancing variant. All of them have some instant board wipe thing, which can lend towards getting their charge up much quicker, as long as they're 10 units board, which is unlikely, so you'll probably want to pair them up with some other chargeable unit. There are also units that have some delayed charge, which may have a harder time taking advantage of Tomte's effect, just because it is, in practice, quite limiting that it only lasts for the first 2 turns. If you can get their charge up fast enough, most units like Tindalos' base 5-star, as well as Amaterasu's 5-star, can activate their charge thereafter. Yeah, in particular with Amaterasu, she can start looping very well because she also has a massive amount of CP for every enemy she hits. But yeah, unlike Vapula's effect, which is they need to be defeated in order for you to receive the bounty, as I mentioned, you only need to hit them, which means units that do have weak damage that can hit the entire board are well suited to be paired with Tomte as like a secondary preparatory board wide damage dealer or board-wide supportive unit. There are units like Echo's Idol variant, which I mentioned before. Even Echo's base version would do the trick with her charge, as well as Jurong, which I show off in this footage. Although, arguably Jurong is quite strong nowadays and can actually do some killing, so watch out for that. But yeah, it is a strong effect, but it's just the one effect, and it's not an automatic victory thing like damage amp on board-wide attack. Ooh, no, it's like you need to actually be a bit cerebral with this unit in terms of your team setup, which is funny coming for a unit that's well designed specifically for a board wipe team, because board wipe teams technically or traditionally are considered the most brain dead of them all. So having Tomte there as a unit that requires some additional thought for your board wipe teams is an interesting outcome. That's all my thoughts for Tomte.
Brain expansion.
Right. Harvey, go.
I'm looking at this finish right now. It's kind of funny. Your team's low-key getting their ass kicked.
I could have done better, but I was like, do I want to keep on recording Tomte footage? I tried recording Amaterasu footage better without Ryota, but just like it's actually impossible to get her charged within the first 2 turns. So that's why I'm just like, that 2 turns really sucks.
Are you blazing her?
Should have used Summer Oz with her.
Yeah, it kind of defeats purpose, but then again, Ryota does too. It's fine. I tried
Really
using
looking
it.
across the finish line here, aren't you?
Well, you know, units like Christine would have been better to show off, to be honest, but it was too late by then. I don't want to record more.
Yeah. In my eyes, Tomte has one unique skill, and that is very much the CP pistol effect. I've been actually wondering how funny it would be if you like did like a mass possession team and then threw in Tomte so you could like flow up the enemy CP for some reason. Maybe, I don't know, throw in Summer Behemoth if you wanted to.
Base Echo can achieve that, I'm pretty sure, with her board-wide possession.
Oh yeah, she does do that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine that with like Isaac. Ooh.
Ooh.
You haven't heard that name in a while.
I think I used them
other than that
last
one
time.
skill. What,
I think I used them recently. Or like some stupid thing. Anyways, go on.
Other than that one skill, Tomte's kit is very much unremarkable. He's like, I don't know, what was it? Club Bathroom, basically, but like with an actual gimmick that people would care about.
Bathroom's gimmick is his ass.
His gimmick is... What is his gimmick? Moving with charm or some shit like that? I don't even know.
Yeah, he charms sometimes, he moves, and he's magic range DPS, and that's it.
He does it.
Yeah, if you don't care about Tomte, then, or if you don't care about the CP effect, then this unit doesn't really have much else for you. But if you do, then it's it can be decent. But you know, I don't think it's that ideal in most cases. I think you're mostly going to be better off running, you know, Chris's Ryota as shown by Mara in the footage.
Could run both. Ooh.
Yeah, you could run both. You could also run them with Vapula variant and double up on that CP gen.
Now that would have been good to demonstrate, but unfortunately I make a point to just separate the different topics so they don't have footage shared with each other.
Yeah. I guess the CS is good at least. It's a lot of effects, and it scales decently too, because of the crit. But it's also very good at a baseline level, because 3 of those effects don't really scale. Zalgus, wakey wakey.
He's done.
No. I think that you should use one of those guild change things and move Tomte to the Beast Tamers so that he can actually give Global Glint.
That's... You could just move him to Warmongers to give attack up to everyone too, but okay.
Yeah. Well, no, his attack up is selfish, never mind. No, yeah, I don't really have much thoughts on this guy. Like, I mean, does he really do anything particularly unique except that CP thing? Which is not that impressive in my opinion.
But it is unique.
I mean, you know what else is unique? Saturnus. As in, uniquely bad.
He doesn't do anything. At least Tomte does something, which is unique. And arguably quite a good effect in the right team. But, you know, it is just the one thing.
Tomte's real purpose is reducing the rate of the other 5-star on banner.
You really think that highly of Amduscias?
Yeah, actually.
Interesting. Maybe you should have asked for him then. Actually, you're talking about him.
I mean, you gave it to me anyway. Also, I didn't actually review him till after you said that.
I mean, you saw that one video I posted, and general, right, Ara?
I still have the what?
Did you see that one video I posted in general with Amduscias?
In general?
And Housamo general and Samochord. Okay, I guess you went there. Never mind then.
Yeah,
I was trying out Amduscias and it was a Mononobe team, and I had like 2 ARs.
Oh, was it the Warmonger's clear with the one shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. That was impressive. But then again, you already did that, so like, congrats on doing it again.
The point was that I didn't have to like
attack seed him or affiliate him or
tweak out over like fucking RNG positioning or like skill effects proccing like Masashi CP thing. It was like the most brain dead clear you could do for that kind of challenge.
Yeah, it was quite
Whereas
impressive.
like the Masashi, it was like the Masashi thing was like resetting for like
positioning 10 blows in the correct position and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good footage. Maybe I should have used that instead. That's too late. Wait, are we talking about Amduscias already? We're not done talking about. Are we talking about Amduscias right now or what? Did we already move on from Tomte?
We're done talking about Tomte. Pretty sure.
I was just saying that Tomte he's fine, but I wouldn't say he's not impressive.
I was like, yeah, we're talking about Amduscias. Then why is my screen still full of Tomte footage? And like, I don't remember switching. Okay, did we? Right. Did you talk about the chat already, or like nothing? Sorry, I'm stopping.
Holy shit! There's like 5 comments.
Yeah, there's not much. It's my turn, right? Boo, tomato. Good. The up on the shelf spook. Congrats on being one of the 2 people that actually got Tomte. You love Tomte. I guess you can use him with a Christmas drawing so you can share all his buffs. That's true.
We love Tomte, bro. Speaking French right now.
I'm just shook that we were so eager to switch to Amduscias through like a passing remark and completely forgot that we were still talking about Tomte. Alright, let's actually talk about Tomte now though. So Zalgus, whenever you're ready.
Well, we already talked about Tomte.
Or Amduscias rather, sorry.
LOL. Right, so another double 5-star, how lovely. So how has Amduscias changed from his base version, who was mainly known for his big punch CS, and then a smorgasbord of other random shit he did? Well, now instead of blowing up one unit, he could instead blow up the entire board. So his CS, at first glance, appears to be the centerpiece. So when he appears, he gains 100 CP and also bestows Brawn to the entire board. Well, to all allies board-wide. Sorry, Waters Owl, we have a new Brawn buffer. His CS is an all-range CS. Very creative, I know. This also applies limit and crit to self, also guts to allies, and also deals 2 times damage to weakness. Limit sucks at SA1, so whatever. It's mainly crit and the weakness we're looking at. He does also apply weakness board wide when he has 100 CP. So at full power weakness, you can just include that. So this makes it a 38.4 times damage multiplier, which is a pretty good multiplier, I guess, at base. This isn't including his Brawn and anything else he might get. If Amduscias is stationary, he loses 10 CP, so you'll need to shuffle Amduscias around somehow if you want his CS to go off, whether you're moving him or having someone else move him, which is probably what you should do, because he has no on-move effects. And he also has a rare trigger timing. On opponent turn start, Amduscias gives himself 80 CP. So this is enough for him to easily CS every turn with a little support. He only needs 20 CP, which is easy enough to achieve. Which is what I would say if it didn't have a pretty big flaw. If Amduscias board wipes the enemy team, their turn never actually starts because it just skips to your next turn on the next phase. So Amduscias does not actually get that 80 CP. So that's a pretty massive flaw. They should have just made it turn start CP. So basically that makes it so that you're not going to get like back-to-back turn CSs with Amduscias's base kit without like heavy support. I mean, before you would have still probably needed like a bit of support, like to fulfill like what 10 CP maybe because he gives himself arousal, probably less than that because he also gets CP from hitting things. But never mind. But besides the CS kit, he's actually a really powerful buffer. He gives face start global glint to self and allies. Tomte could never, and also gives concentration and ardor to allies in a wide range, while his CS is above 49. I won't bother describing how wide that range is, but you can see it there. It's very big. So yeah, he's actually a pretty powerful buffer as long as he remains above 50 CP, which includes turn 1. He gives global brawn and glint, inflicts global weakness, and also gives concentration and ardor in a large area. That's 4 damage buffs while also giving 20% proc rate, and it's all really reliable. You only need skill Cs to guarantee concentration and ardor because he already has glint. So Amduscias has a very reliable 29 times multiplier in a massive range, and you could in theory keep it going mostly indefinitely, since you could just not move Amduscias and he'll remain at near full CP. He does reduce his CP by 10 each turn, but he's probably hitting something, or his arousal will also counteract that, and he's pretty likely to get that if he gets a buff from anything at all. Yeah, so that's easy to upkeep. And honestly, that's pretty much both sides of his kits. So, is Amduscias good? I'd say he's very good. You could either use him as a board wiper, but he can't really do it repeatedly, which kind of sucks. So I'd say, despite his CS appearing to be the centerpiece, it's really not. In fact, I'd say you probably don't want him to CS. I'd rather use him as a powerful buffer instead. 4 damage buffs and 20% proc rate, and a high guaranteeable rate is no joke. He's got massive rates or ranges on 2 of his damage buffs too, and the rest is entirely global. And I said earlier, but it's a 29 times multiplier in total, which is absurd for how easy it is to achieve. Yeah, so that's pretty much my thoughts on Amduscias. He's a very powerful buffer. You could use him for CSing, but you could also just use him to buff someone who will do the board wiping for you.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Jesus, alright.
What?
I kind of overlooked it, but yeah. He functions actually very, very well in buff-heavy comps, where you also have a unit who has like an after buff CP effect, because he has the ability to boost proc rates by 20% very easily. And this actually works in my favor, and I posted this video in demo court, but it was one of the things that allowed me to like one-shot the Warmonger's quest with like Amduscias and Mononobe and Smerlabe and Yig, was that he's able to boost Yig's CP effect from 60% to 80%, so he could actually like loop Amduscias' charge for the third turn.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, this unit, I think, is just like obviously going to be a lot more powerful than Tomte, who is mostly restricted in his magic range, because even if you don't kill, he's gonna like get a CS up, and he'll probably one-shot the next turn.
The differences in their glint represents their power level.
True. The glint power scaling. But yeah, I think the easiest way to view Amduscias is like he's like a Club-O-Con if he was good.
I was actually thinking of a different comparison, which was he's like Summer Bigfoot if he was good.
Don't you use Summer Bigfoot a lot though?
I do for the one-turn buffs, not really for what he's intended to be used for. But yeah, unlike Bigfoot, Amduscias is able to give 2 different rate ups. I think Bigfoot only gives 1. So that does definitely work better for units like Inaba or something. But not only that, there's just a lot more damage amp as well, and he is quite well suited for those kind of not very viable 1-2-3 board wipe setups, because he's actually doing stuff even if he doesn't board wipe. He can like offer extreme amp on the turns he doesn't board wipe, and he can also do the board wipe himself while taking advantage of the amps on whatever final turn. So I feel like the best way to use him is to just like, save his charge until the very last possible moment where he does the final finisher. But yeah, it's very easy to delay his charge to achieve that, as you did yourself for the Warmongers one. I probably should use your footage for whenever I do the evaluation video. But yeah, both he's like the very first good totem unit, I think. I feel like Bigfoot didn't do it too well, even though I like the concept a lot. So, props to him for kind of just existing and giving a bunch of damage amps without even trying.
I think Bigfoot's like adequate for that kind of archetype, but yeah, Amduscias is like actually good, and you can see him being impactful in your team.
Yeah, I'm happy Amduscias exists because it sort of validates that totems can work in this game, because they're kind of just like, first one's Bigfoot and Enigma and ooh, amazing 5 stars. I don't know. So,
God, fucking Enigma, dude. Why would you bring that thing up?
He was technically a totem too. He existed just to give free protection or some dumb shit like that. I don't know. But yeah, Amduscias definitely is a superior hard hitter for giving a massive amount of amp and also rate up. And also not just living and dying by his amp, but also offering that board wipe, which is nothing to scoff at either. Everyone loves him.
Oh yeah. Also, Amduscias has a guild and Tomte doesn't.
Well said. Okay. Feel free to read out the chat, Harvey.
Hall. Okay.
I mean, there's only
Yay!
comments again.
AMD, why didn't you come? Blowing up the entire board. How scandalous for an idol. Terrorist bear idol. Bear.
Yeah, I didn't even want to correct that. It's like 2 levels of abstraction away from what he's supposed to be, so like, whatever.
From horse to bear, Jesus. Love Amduscias. Green hearts. Funny that he hates Apollo, given he's a lot stronger than him. I guess. My big fluffy friend. Whatever that emoji is. Damn. Well, there's more comments than Tomte, so I guess that's the one.
I kind of wanted Tomte more, but you guys sort of convinced me Amduscias is like far better. Probably should have been convinced by that.
I mean, I don't think it was a question that Dusty was better. I think it's just more like Tomte has this one unique gimmick, and it's like, whereas Dusty is just like gonna be universally good, basically, because of how much shit he has in his kit that's actually like easy to use.
Yeah. I'm probably just overvaluing the unique stuff that's actually brand new in this game. But, it's nice that there is something new Tomte offers, but, being the first good totem, well, fantastic totem in this game is also pretty impressive in its own right. Okay, we can close off the discussion now if you guys are done with this bozo. Switch over. Okay, thank you for coming everyone and helping me with this discussion. Are there any remarks you have left over for this event, whether it's the music or the skins, the actual variants that were featured today, Apollo as a choice for a character and his interpretation, the duration of this event, how long it lasts, if it's too long or too short, things you're looking forward to, your successes on the banner, literally anything, like whatever's on your mind.
Very bold of them to make an update that broke the game for a lot of the players.
Right. So about that, a lot of people are having troubles logging in apparently because of that stupid confetti effect. I mean, I liked it at first, but the fact that it's preventing everyone from joining is way too funny.
So, I'll say this. I mean, I should hope that people should know better than to do this, but do not uninstall your game in an attempt to fix this, because that will just delete your file unless you actually kept your backup passwords or whatever. So, yes, just wait for them to fix it, which is hopefully soon, or buy a new phone.
It's not going to delete your file, but it will make it
or emulate. That will also work.
Yeah, Zalgus apparently had troubles too, so he had to move his emulator account to some other device, I believe.
I had to change what device it was emulating. I had to go from Android 7 to 9, so it's not a big deal. But I mean, for anyone who doesn't know how the file system works on emulators, it might be a problem. But yeah, if you really must log in, then you can just get emulator and select something better than Android 7.
Okay, so it's a platform issue. Okay, but besides that game-breaking bug, anything else based on things I mentioned?
Did you see the new character, the new gay BB jail?
Lianan's friend who is male.
Let me check.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Are we or something?
I'll be trying to say the name to me, and I was like, "What the fuck are you saying?"
Let me see if I can.
Vainomoinen? This guy? Oh yeah, I saw this guy. The guy with
until he told me to look into spoilers.
Heilong each one, but human and actually hot.
Did you say butt human but actually hot?
Heilong each
one.
But there's I think his
I think his guitar and shirt are kind of dumb and look a bit strange, especially the guitar. It looks pasted on, but I think it looks cool.
I mean, it's probably held up by a strap, but it does kind of vaguely look like it was just added by an AI or something. Kind of funny. He's cool though. Probably cool.
I like how he has a little ship above or on his neck, on it as a necklace.
Oh yeah, he does.
It looks like it's surfing the shirt.
I wonder how many people are lost as we're talking about this character with no reference.
I mean, I posted like a Discord image of him in chat, so.
Okay. Please refer to chat to see how he looks.
He's kind of cute.
He's pretty cool.
I think he's gonna be like a Forster though. Just given like how like LifeWonders track record of like fucking over old men in this game.
Hey, Balor did. Oh wait, no, his base is Forster.
Yeah. Tianzin robbed. I'm surprised there wasn't more like content for what was it? The off boosters. I was expecting like a Lianen skin or something, but
and unfortunately, Lianen will still be stuck with her blue sweater vest or whatever it is. I was like, oh yeah, let's check out her skins, and oh, the button's not working. Oh, she still only has one skin. I see.
Yeah, and her office like fixed her leg.
This bitch is never escaping hell, I swear to God. She's like in purgatory right now.
That's the price she pays for power creeping the game when she appeared.
She's already
no one can stop talking about her.
Too, so it's like, well, at least give her a new skin at this point. Well, maybe when her variant releases. I'm surprised they haven't given her a variant yet either, given her reputation.
She's too powerful.
I guess no one cares about the event itself.
I was gonna talk about it. I've been like low-key waiting for an idol event. I actually think that this kind of theme was overdue for Housamo, but I think at this point it's a bit late, especially after Christmas's theme. But it's a lot of like outfits that I'm like kind of glossing over right now, where they kind of just like all look the same.
A bit, but you know, they're supposed to be in the same band. At least that's what's implied by the research profile. I do think they kind of uncannily look a bit too similar to Christmas Haster's style. Just like they all look like they're implying Castor was supposed to be part of this Valentine's batch too, but maybe not.
I think it's funny that they tried to they like made it an idol group, but they're also kind of like a Sentai or a magical girl team, and it's like I'm not really seeing it. But also, they do not look nearly magical girl enough for that, or Sentai enough for that.
Wasn't the magical girl Snegorchka? Where's this magical girl interpretation?
Yeah, it was just Snegorchka. But I mean, this team, as in like it's a team of like 4. Is it? I don't know if they have anyone else besides the guys on banner.
I will say at least some of the
people.
alts look decent. Like I do like Amduscias' shirt alt. Same can't be said for the fucking uniforms of a Valentine snowball fight where everyone was either in like camo gear or in like some stupid sauna skin. So I do think at least the base uniforms here are a bit better than those camos, and the alts are pretty good too. I'm not a fan of
the appeal of Valentine's to me was like always these like casual outfits, like we had in what was it?
Crossroad?
Crossroads and Fantasy, yeah. Because both of them had casual outfits that looked pretty good. And I don't know, most of these alts aren't really doing it for me. Like Echo's ult is just kind of unfortunate.
I haven't even looked at them.
Echo's is just like less pink, isn't it? But it's still pink. I don't even know.
Yeah, she just like takes off
one part of her out
like
uniform.
Yeah,
I remember that. I was like, oh, this is such ugly ass hot pink. At least the alt will save her. Surely. No.
Does she still have her sword blade?
I don't know. I don't want to look at Echo anymore longer than I have to. Like Echo did not deserve to be put in this Princess Peach knockoff uniform. Everyone else looks pretty good, but Echo's
he hates Peach.
It hurts my eyes. Jeez, it's like, especially with the lime green of her hair, it does not clash. This does not bring happiness. It's like, someone please change her from that character. It's humiliating to see her and not any longer. I'm a real idol now. She wears this like fucking garbage can. Sorry, my inner thoughts are popping out a bit too much.
I see. Music's really good this time.
Yeah, I'm
Definitely,
glad they did the double song feature again. I hope they do that as a regular thing in the future. It's great.
Oh yeah, thank you, Housamo, for like instantly uploading the music. Like it just appeared.
I was actually
surprised that I'd forgotten to even listen to it.
I was actually like talking to him, and I was like saying how much I was like waiting for like the music tracks to drop. He was like, "Oh, fine, I'll upload them now." He like did it really quickly.
Do you know what program he uses to get them?
Huh?
Do you know what program he uses to get all these files instantly?
No, I do not know.
Dang. He also seems to have access to the most recent backgrounds, which the wiki is not updating on, so I'm just like, how's this bitch killing it? I must know.
This is black magic.
Really?
Bear magic even. But yeah, music is very good. I think it like almost makes up for like the Crossroads battle theme travesty.
Speaking of, that was just playing.
Jesus.
I can't even remember the Crossroads battle theme.
Like I don't know how to describe it, like a troika? It's like a march, kind of.
Is it the thing that's playing right now?
It was, yeah. Switched over to New Year's, but yeah, you just heard the Crossroad one.
Oh, yeah, this is the New Year's one. I was confused for a moment. It's like, this isn't Valentine's, is it?
No, directly before that.
Time to rewind because YouTube stream can do that. Is that a typo? Stormy Rhapsody, except spelt wrong.
Is it spelled wrong?
Is it?
I think I went back too far. Yeah, it says RAHP.
What?
Oh.
Or,
Stop nitpicking these. I'll fix it later. This is my personal playlist. Jeez. Like, whatever.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're only gonna do like this double music thing for like more music-based events though, like the club event, I think, and now we have an idol event.
What if all events from now on are music based?
I mean, I guess they wouldn't mind if the next one was also music based because, you know, they're finally dropping like characters that Leonon name dropped like what 5 years ago. Like people saw that one throwaway line and they're like, oh, this character's gonna be in Newsom this year, and then they just like never did anything with it. But now this new gay baby Gelita is here after so long.
What the fuck is this Echo alt skin? I just looked at it. What are these baby hands that look unfinished?
I fucking hate Echo skins. Oh, she's supposed to be the one I was most hyped for, and I saw her skin.
Get those things away.
At least everyone looks good, but can you believe the one girl in the Idol event looks like hot trash? Jesus Christ. Truly a disservice.
Yeah, it's
Why does she want to hug?
it's a lot. I do feel a bit bad for her.
It's like
At least she
like-
still has her soul blade.
she's like smiling, happy she's an idol, but I'm like, is anyone gonna tell her? It looks like garbage. Maybe we should let her have her fun. But yeah, I think this idol event's better than I would have expected. You know, like I'll admit I was the first to roll my eyes when like an idol event featuring mostly male characters. Well, this is gonna be hot garbage. But execution-wise, it turned out better than I thought it would. And the music is
Ara
not
hates
as
VTubers.
well.
To be frank, I still don't care for most of the cast, but I do think they did the concept right, so I'll give them that.
Yeah, I don't really care about the cast either, but they did it well for who they are, so. Which can't be said for Top of Summer Mountains, which both had an awful cast and kind of mediocre execution. I am a fan of the recent unity in the kit designs, though. I think Snowland was the only exception where they kind of just had like random fuck all abilities. But between... I mean, am I wrong?
I just remember fucking Crispus Yoshito doing nothing in the tall farming quest.
Actual hot garbage. But yeah, there's not really any unifying thing among the kits for that, other than we're kind of running laps around everyone. But yeah, this event obviously had that board wiper theme, which was quite good. Then there was Top of Summer Mountains, which I mean, 5 stars were totems, not very good ones, but they were. And the 4 stars were just strong for respective map sizes. And then Summer Host was just like very memey debuff teams. But they were all debuff related for the most. Well, I think the 5 stars weren't, but the 4 stars were. So I like the unity a lot for sure. And you know, I didn't think it would work at first because the last time they did a banner that was supposed to have the same concept, it wasn't that great. It was like Desert Journey or some shit where everyone was supposed to be playing with each other, even it was like kind of mediocre fans. Yeah.
Well, wasn't there the vanity thing? Wasn't there the vanity thing?
No.
I mean...
Yeah, that was for Summer Host. That was good. I'm talking about Desert Journey, which was just like everyone had some pointless synergy effects. That wasn't even that great. But I'm glad they re-explored it and did it successfully for the past few banners, especially with this one. This is probably like, while everything else was like conceptually pretty good, this one was like overall just a very strong concept to be building around in terms of strengthening board wide amps.
I think it's
Or
funny
board
that the one actual board wiper on the banner probably doesn't want to actually be board wiping most of the time.
Yeah, they
Amduscias,
complement
that
board
is.
wipers too, in their own way, by like, you know, covering the turn after the first board wiper in those 1 to 3 setups. But as you said, they have a lot more use than just that. They just have a massive amount of amp for free. Very good.
You can use him with Tomte, and then he'll refund some CP whenever you hit something. There you go.
You can use any board wiper with Tomte, yeah.
Well, Amduscias, for him, it matters more because he has like actual CP thresholds, even if you don't actually loop with them.
You can, like,
You could also just use 2 Amdusciases.
Amduscias would be quite strong. I forgot to mention this, but Amduscias would be quite strong in like any sort of a single phase challenges. Because he can just like get his charge up every single turn as long as the phase doesn't loop, right? So that would be interesting to have him constantly board wiping while also toting constantly. So Amduscias is like,
I was trying to like see if I could like permanently have him CS in like that one, what was it, Surtur refrain quest, and he just like ended up one-shotting Surtur on his first CS. I was like, all right.
That's funny. Yeah, Amduscias is quite good. Can't wait to see more gameplay footage of him. He's probably like a dark horse in terms of suddenly being a staple. No one expected for lots of like hyper carry teams.
Did you do that on purpose?
Perhaps.
Also, I think it's funny that Amduscias rule-makered Surtur. Good job.
But yeah, music's good, art styles are good. Gacha luck, as you saw in my stream earlier, was surprisingly good, so happy about that. Sorry for your lost milk. Jesus Christ. And yeah, there's nothing really to hate about this event. Just like the initial impressions before it was released was pretty negative. Was, you know, Apollo's design and like the variant choices, but execution-wise, everything just blows expectations way out of the water for sure. I hope the rest of the year carries off with this sort of pace.
I mean, anyone who's played Smite should already be familiar with some fuckboy Apollo, so it's not that big a deal for me.
That's true.
Yeah, he is quite stereotyped that way, huh?
Rockstar, yeah. He's also like a huge diva in this, apparently. Like I saw someone like translate one of the things, and he was like throwing a tantrum while all his managers were getting him ready.
Maybe you can interpret that as diva, but according to his research profile, he's actually just like really lazy. So if he's being fussy, maybe that's just he doesn't want to work.
Isn't that being a diva?
Not really. Being a diva is like, I want a yacht. What? This is like only a Porsche? I want a Lamborghini. That's a diva. Anywho,
I
think, do you want to read out the chat, Harvey?
Alright.
Bestie.
Okay. My fourth pull got me 2 5-star, 5 units in 90 minutes. That was fast. Well, it is like 2.5 people doing these, and it's like, yeah, it's only 5 units actually. I think it helps that we're getting to a point where like we can like go over units very quickly now, because we've kind of like talked about similar units before. It's literally just the confetti effect causing it incredible.
That is really funny, yeah.
Is it actually the confetti effect?
It's just confetti effect, yeah.
Is that what
That's
the...
really,
I didn't actually bother reading the error, because I was like, I just rolled my eyes because I already saw people posting about it, and then fixed it. Well, switched over.
It's about like presumably something about not being able to render it, not the right tools for it installed.
That's
like, you know, there's only one thing that's new that would need different rendering, and that's confetti effect. Yeah.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Too powerful.
Fucking Google Slides effect. And it's breaking the game.
They should have just changed the background into a GIF.
Maybe everyone else should just get better phones.
Honestly.
Phones?
Fucking... What was it? My 5-year-old iPhone can run this game fine. I don't know about other people. That's purple ship he has in mythology. The artist did just slap the guitar in there after the fact with very little thought. Jack Frost deconfirmed for new semester. Oh.
Say it isn't so.
What happened? No! I need something to look forward to after this. It wasn't a dream, it was like a magical girl show for Christmas. Like Castor would have been a villain in the show kind of vibe. No spoilers, the event already happened. Also, I think you can just like gloss over the research bio and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I tried to be spoiler free too, but I do read the research profiles just to get an idea how to do the ELL, so I end up having a general gist of how the story goes.
Even Echo looks annoyed in this shop about her outfit. Yeah. Poor
girl.
Echo. Jesus Christ. What is it?
You know what the worst part of it is? Her base skin looks so cool. She's like one of the most stylish. And then they give her that fucking
Yeah, she has that
bag
what
of
was
flaming
it?
doo-doo. Jeez.
This almost street punk aesthetic going on. And then this is like a far cry from that.
Even as far as idol outfits go, it's very plain. It's not very flashy.
You know, they
would
could have
expect.
just improved it by giving the exact same outfit but making it light green instead. But pink does not work on her.
You want me to like go into Paint.net and change the hue to see how it looks?
It'll be better, trust me.
Dude,
I
it's
already-
so
I'll do-
much
I'll do that
fucking.
later.
There's so much pink. It's insane. Like, if you blur your eyes, it's just all the same color.
It doesn't even match her personality. She's not like fucking cutesy or something. She's shy, so like what?
Ara does not approve of Echo trying to step out of her comfort zone.
Go back in the box.
Stay in your lane.
Okay. Not for Ian, pensive. Also, Echo looks like Madoka Kaname.
Same.
I guess. Well, I doubt anyone will remember that 4 years from now on, Clueless. If I remember correctly, we're gonna wait to 2026 till this gets translated, I take it. This Valentine's event? Yeah, it should be 2026. This game's music largely makes me think the whole game is more silly than anything else. Yeah. Maybe sometimes, I don't know.
Sometimes it doesn't really have longer tracks that aren't obviously designed to loop. It would be nice if it did have some more scenic types. You know, the music is appropriate for this event and it's good, so I don't really care about the seriousness of it as long as it's good and it's fitting.
Yeah, I don't usually like take these events too seriously unless they're related to the main quest in some way. I'm thinking Mephistopheles for a new unit for the main or event someday. There are lots of male idols are IRL. Not a lot of chubby ones, but still.
Vapula breaking
It's
grounds.
Wasn't there like a panda like idol group or something? I forgot.
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but
Does Valentine's Amduscias have synergy with regular 5-star Amduscias?
you know what? I've never seen this before. This is worse than I imagined it. I did not need to see this panda idol group. It's awful.
Is it an actual thing?
It's just a bunch of dudes wearing panda outfits.
Oh,
Produce Pandas, Chinese plus-size boy band.
yeah, I think that's what I was trying to talk about. Produce pandas.
What the fuck is this?
Anyways, I don't think he does. Well, wait. No, wait, he has. Okay, yeah, maybe he does, because they have his base version has like vigor, and then he can like stack the other buffs from his marine on top of it. So I guess it could work out. It's kind of silly to use. What was it? This half like mass buffer half Boardwiper with like this with a space card, which is like limited to below
There you
slash
go.
magic range.
I posted the color change thing. It is a thing I quickly slapped up, so don't mind that her arms are now green.
Is that where you are all this time? Jeez.
Yes, but I just quickly did that. So if you think that looks better, which I think it looks quite nice like that actually.
I can think the arms are just like sleeves, but you could have at least saved the fingers. But yeah, it looks a lot better. Jeez.
I was using the lasso and the magic wand tool, sorry, and that's why the outline of her wings are also still there.
Okay.
They need to make her pink another, though. It's very important.
You know what would have fixed this even more? If you actually colored the other parts that are still pink lime green. Just remove all the pink, please. I hate it. Alright.
Okay. Alright, almost done. Has anyone else not been able to get into the game? I was really looking forward to this banner. A lot of people, don't worry. Amduscias' outfit is really amazing. Thanks for the stream, guys. See you at new semester. It'd be better if her dress was white with pink accents. It'd be better if she didn't have that fuck-ass background with her, too. It's so aggressive.
Like, I wouldn't even consider myself a big Echo fan. I just liked her. She was cool, story-ish, and she had character growth. It was just like, it's making me not like
that event.
I'm not talking about that event. I'm talking about later on, through her cameo appearances, she actually did have character growth through other events. She used to like not be able to string any words at all, but then through Tower of Mighty Stop, she was able to speak more and more. Until in like the Year of the Dragon event, she actually had a more major role of speaking more clearly and helping resolve the situation. So that was impressive for her, and this feels like a few steps back and also makes me stop caring about her. Okay, if you've covered everything, then yeah, I'll just close off the stream now. So
no way.
What?
Oh, no, go ahead and continue to close out.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for joining everyone for this wonderful stream covering these wonderful topics. It was a pleasure to talk about this and have fun with all of you. The next topic or the next video that you can expect from me is going to be the evaluation videos as usual. Presumably sometime tomorrow or the day after, depending on how lazy I'm feeling. Also,
there you go.
That actually looks so much better. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
You see, it really is just like the clashing between her hair and that. But yeah, look forward to the evaluation video sometime in the next couple of days. Besides that, heads up, there is going to be a couple of new pickups. This is like the third time I mentioned already. But yeah, the pickups, if you're not interested in this manner, they're going to be featuring Willy Wildcat in one of them, and Heilong each one in the other one, aka the limited units that were released during new semester last year. So look forward to that if these units aren't your cup of tea, which they really should be, because I'd say they're quite better. Well, Willy Wildcat is kind of busted, but you know, old hat. Anyway,
Valentine Chino is with them.
No one cares. Sorry,
Wrong.
I should have said that so bluntly. But yeah, thank you everyone, and we will see you next time. On three, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.
Bye.